Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I hope you've all had a very good Christmas and ready to start crafting again. Today I have a card which I'm not sure what the name of it is, so I'm going to call it a box pop-up card. And what happens is you open it up and it comes up as a pop-up like that. Okay? It's like having a little box there behind, but it gives a 3D view. The only thing I would say about this card is it's unlikely to stand up on the shelf by itself. It will need something behind here to support it. Alright? Unless you wanted to stand it up there and not worried about showing the inside, which you may not want to anyway, because I've put somewhere there for you to sign the message. You may not want that bit exposed. I don't know how you feel about that bit, but it will stand up on its own like that. Okay, so this is the card that I'm going to be making today, but I'm changing the colour scheme. This is Blackberry Bliss and Fresh Freesia. I'm going to be using Wild Wheat and Pebbled Path, which are two colours that will be retiring at the end of April when the new catalogue is due to come out. I'm not sure the exact date. It'll be at the beginning of May, I believe. But my first card I made was this one, and I was inspired to use this set, the Designer Series Paper and the Highland Heather. No, that's not Highland Heather, is it? No, that's Flowers of Beauty. But somebody did a card and posted it on my public Facebook group where all crafters can join. Doesn't matter what craft you do, doesn't matter what products you use, you're very, very welcome to join my group and share your projects with us. It's always nice to see what other people do. And like on this occasion, it's actually inspired me to use this combination. On the inside, I followed through, same design, but just I've used different, these are different die cuts, and that one, I've done something different there as well. But again, I've left the space for the writing, but it is the little box there. Okay, so I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces you're going to need. I will be giving you the measurements during the video for inches for A4 cardstock users. I will put all the measurements in the box below the video, and that will include centimetres and inches for A4 cardstock users, and it will also include inches for letter size cardstock users, which is North America, USA and Canada as far as I know. So I will start off with the card pieces that you're going to need, and this piece is Wild Wheat, and this is the main card base, and this should measure 11.5 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And then the inner card base, what I'm calling, this is the outer card base, the main card base. The inner card base is this Fresh Freesia that comes down here, comes down and comes down there. That's all one piece. So I'm calling that the inner card base. So that's this one, and this measures 11.25 inches by 3 7/8 inches. Now I've just left a little note on there to adhere this side to the Wild Wheat. It's got to go down that way. I don't know what happened, but there was a little blob on there. It was like glue. I don't know if that was something that I did or it arrived like that. But it doesn't matter. I've used a nail file on it and smoothed it down. I always keep nail files in here, clean ones just for crafting. They're not ones that I've used for my fingers. So that will be having to go down there. I'll leave that on there so it reminds me. And then for the front of the card, that's this piece here, the middle layer, which is Fresh Freesia there. Here it's the Pebbled Path, and this should measure 5.5 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And then on the other side, the Designer Series Paper on both of these cards is from the Regal Winter set. So I'm calling this Design 1 because there are two different designs that I'm using. Again, like this one, Design 1, and that's Design 2 on those two pieces. Okay, so the top layer is 5 3/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then for the inner pop-up part, my first one here I did for about 3 3/4 inches, but I thought that that was a bit tall, and I thought if I did it shorter I would be able to get more visible there, make it a little bit more 3D. But the option is yours. The measurements I'll be giving is the 3 inches. So the Pebbled Path is 3 inches by 3 7/8 inches. And again, design 1 on top is 2 7/8 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then for the 2 pieces for design 2, that one and that one, measures 4.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And this other little note reminds me to let you know that you will need some basic white for your sentiments. I've used it there, and also for the signing. Pebbled Path and Wild Wheat, which these two here, which are equivalent of the Blackberry Bliss and the Fresh Freesia. So you need all scraps for those, depending on how you are designing your card. Now, what I've done a little bit different here, because I do like to show different options as far as possible. Put those all over there. This card, I've used the darkest colour for the main card base, but I'm using this one, which I don't think is to me a darker colour than that. So I'm using the darker colour in between that and the Designer Series paper. Okay, it just gives you options of seeing what the overall effect is. I know the colours are different, but it will still give you an idea. So first of all, we need to do some scoring. She says very carefully bringing her trimmer over so it doesn't knock the main light over. So the first piece is the largest piece. This is what I'm calling the main card base, the outer one, and you need to score that at 5 3/4 inches. Move the cutting blade out of the way. And then the inner, right, let's leave that on there. The inner card base you need to score at, I'm going to need to open up the arm for this one. Okay, so you need to score at 4 5/8 inches. 5 5/8 inches, and 6 5/8 inches. Okay, so that's all we're going to be needing our trimmer for. Very carefully put that back. There we go. So then we need our bone folder. I don't think I'm going to need that anymore, am I? That's my notes. So let's start off with the main card base. Fold it in half and burnish really nicely. As always, make sure that your sides are lining up. It looks as if that's a tad larger there. Never mind, it won't spoil it. Right, adhere that to the inner, so I'm going to turn it over this way. So on the first score line down here, fold it in. This is going to be inwards. And then open that one up, turn it around and fold the next one down there in that direction. Make sure it's, oh my goodness, make sure it's lining up nice and straight. That looks as if I did that a bit wonky, but that's okay. And then open it up totally and fold that one, the centre score line, in half. Okay, so your card is going to be going inside like that, and I didn't do that right, did I? So let me turn that around the other way, because I want that to go down. That's right. Okay, let me re-burnish these. And re-burnish this one. Yes. and then that one there. Now I can get rid of that note there. Okay, so first things we're going to do is adhere this inside our main card. As you know, I always like to find which one is a bit longer, because one of these is generally a little bit longer, and whichever side is longer, I like it to go to the front of my card. And the reason I say that is because it's easier to open up a card. If you've got a little bit sticking out over there, it's quite easy to open it. Otherwise, here you're having to do that to try and get to the edge. Okay, now what we're going to do, and the reason I've chosen two lightish colours here is so that you can see that I'm lining up this line here with this crease line here. Okay, so what you should do, if you line that up and make sure you've got the same gap top and bottom. Now once you're happy you've got that centred, you should find that your gap all the way around is about the same. From where I'm sitting, that looks the same. I've turned it over again, haven't I? Try that again. Line that up. Line that up. That looks straight. Yes. Yes. That's a bit close to the bottom there. Let's move it up a bit. Right. Once you're happy you've got that into place, fold this one back, hold this tight, fold this one back, and put your glue on here. And that is whatever glue you like, and make sure you get your glue opened first before you actually do this. It does make life easier. Let's just get rid of that little blob of glue on the end. Let me just double check this. Well, down here that looks right. So do that over. Right, I'm using my left hand to hold the actual card base in place. And then just bring that over. Make sure that bit's flattened down, and then you can flatten this piece down. Okay. And then turn your card around, and then make sure that's flat. Pull this one back and glue this. Make sure that you're all straight here. Then push this one over. Right, now I am going to do this a little bit different to the way that I did the other two, because I think it's going to be easier. We're going to take these two pieces and we're going to adhere them on there. Now, what I suggest you do with these, line these up so that these three are absolutely spot on. I found with mine, and I don't know the reason for this, this comes down close to the scored line, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to see that bit anyway. Okay, so let's get these pieces adhered in. Oops. I've had this Designer Series paper for quite some time, but this is the first time I've used it because I wasn't really quite sure what to do with it. Well, that feels a bit sticky. That's better. And this one doesn't have a right way and wrong way once it's cut. Probably hasn't got a right or wrong way, whether it's horizontal or vertical. I didn't actually check for that, to be honest. Okay, so now I'm going to put this one in. for my images and everything, I've done one set. Now, see, that one's gone a lot closer to that scored line. Can you see that? But it's nicely centred according to that. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to do the front of my card, which is this one. Yeah, I was going to say, because I've got the lighter colour at the bottom, I'm not sure what colour is going to look best on here, whether it's going to be the Pebbled Path or the Wild Wheat. So I've done one of each. This is another piece that I had that blob on there as well. But it's not a problem, as long as I remember not to put it on the outside. There's a slight raise on it, but it's not going to notice if it's underneath. Okay. The black bits here is why I decided to go for the grey. I do think that's black, although it's not listed as one of the colours to go with this, but I felt that black would be too harsh with it. You may not agree with me, and if anybody does make it with the black, I'd love to see it. As I say, you can join my public Facebook group for that. The link will be in the box below here. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to decorate the front. Okay, I've got that in Wild Wheat, and I've got one in the Pebbled Path. I think that will probably look best. That goes okay, but I think possibly that's a bit overpowering. And for my sentiment, I'm going to use that or that up the right way preferably. And then I've got my butterflies, and I tend to do whatever colour I'm using here on top of the opposite colour. So that means that one on top of that. So that's the middle, yep, that's it. That one like that. And what else did I do? Two baby ones, so that's one solid of the Wild Wheat and one like that. Okay, right, before I go any further, I'm going to show you the dies that I've been using for this. I'm just take them in the pile that they come up as. Now the first ones for that and that one, I've taken from Flowers of Beauty, which comes with Flowers of Beauty stamp set and Unbounded Beauty Designer Series Paper, but I'm using a totally different Designer Series Paper with this. Okay, so that's what these two dies are, that one and that one. Okay, so that's Flowers of Beauty. I will list them all in the details below, and most of these do come as bundles, but I can't remember whether they're this year's stamp sets or last year's. All the butterflies I've taken from here, so it's that one and that one, that one and that one, and I've got a little bit of cardstock in there. Do that over the bin, well done. This one is actually bent, I don't know if you can see it, and I'll tell you how I did that. I actually put this with the cardstock on top of both cutting mats, and then I put a shim on it because it's got lots of bits on it, so that covered it. So I ran it through, and obviously that was just the shim away from the actual roller, and it really has bent it, but it still it hasn't spoiled it, but I really wished I hadn't have done that. So those and those. And that is Sketched Butterflies, which has a matching stamp set with it. And the one for... Oh, I haven't done that one yet, silly. This one here is from, as you know, I've used this loads of times, that die there in the middle. That's from Wildflower Designs, matching stamp set, and Wildly Flowering DSP. There's that one. And then the other two are retired sets. As you know, I always say I do not get rid of my layering dies. So let's put that on the white, it's easier to see. This comes from Stitched Rectangle dies. Okay, and I've used one for the sentiment and number 2 for the outside of that one. If you see that I've got anything with a dot on like that, that tells you it's retired. Well, it tells me that it's retired, but if I say to you it isn't, if I don't say it has retired, if you see that, you know it is. And then these ones are layering ovals, again retired, and that's what I've used on here. On this one, okay, that was number 3 for the sentiment and number 4 for the layer. I think that must be all the stamp sets, dies. Now for the stamp sets that I've used, on this one it's from Adventurous Sky, which is that one there, which is available as a bundle with a matching set of dies. I didn't bring those over with me. This one here, Life is So Much Better With You In It, is from the Retired Petal Palette. Is that one there? One of my favourites when that came out, really lovely. As you can see, it's one that I've never got rid of. If you don't have that, a newer one is the Pansy Patch, and I would have used that, which is Wishing You a Little Extra Happiness Just Because You're You. It's got the little things you do make such a big difference as well. So really nice sentiments. So, right, I'm going to start building this one up. Make sure, yes, let's do the front first. And I think I decided I was going to use for the, yes, and then I will use that and that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use all the grey colours. So those are for inside. Just need that, just need that. That can go back. These can go back for the time being. I think I need that for inside. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use my little fine tip glue bottle. I have actually got here some scrap paper, so if any of it comes out too quick in big blobs, then I can just bounce it on there to get the worst of the excess off. I am also thinking about some of the things that I use that aren't Stampin' Up products, putting them in the box below and restart my Amazon account. So if you go onto Amazon to buy these, I will supply a link for you. If you buy it through Amazon, then I will get, or at least I stand a chance of getting, a small commission. It doesn't add anything onto the price that you're paying, but it's like a little thank you from Amazon, which would be really appreciated, because since I was ill, unfortunately, not surprisingly, my business has really taken a hammering. So a little bit of extra would be nice. Plus the fact it will help you also. Let's put that back in there, tip it upside down, and Tombow should be upside down as well. Well, these are sticky ones. Yes, these are the good ones. So let's just get this, tip it over. There we go. I didn't go too mad on any of those with the glue. So this one, just adhere these two together first. Find these. Oops, it got stuck to my finger. when these colours first came out, I really didn't think very much of them, especially the yellowy colour. But like most of the colours that Stampin' Up bring out, I eventually do get to like them. It's been very rare that I haven't liked any of the colours. I can think of one set that they brought out which was incredibly bright, and I never did get used to those. Okay, so what I do is I just put a little bit of glue on the body, and then when I put them together I just make sure that the two sets of wings line up with each other. And this, yes, I did put that up on dimensionals, so let's do that. I think 3 is more than enough for that. Put that about there. Just make sure it's straight. Yes. And then my little butterfly, again I'm putting a little bit of glue on the body. And I want this to come down towards the bottom. And then this one. Oh, I know what I've forgotten to do before I started the video. I'm using some gems, and I'm not sure whether they're current or not. They are called, if I can see them, don't tell me oh, here they go. They're called Elegant Faceted Gems. Okay, they come in, I thought this was actually specified colours, didn't they? Maybe not. Okay, so what I do to adhere these, because I've got a little bit of glue there, I'm going to put extra glue here just to make sure they stay in place. My paper piercer. Oh, there you go. So this time I'm going to use a creamy coloured one. I think this might go a bit better with the yellow. Okay, so that'll cover up that shiny bit there. These look almost frosted. And I think I just put 2 on that one. Oh no, I just did 1 on this. I'll bring it up close so you can actually see these little gems. There we go. Okay, so that's the front of the card. Okay. Let me know in the comments behind what you think about this colour combo. Right, so the next thing on the inside, we can do the sentiment on here. I don't put dimensionals on the inside of cards. Okay, so I'm just going to get this straight. Okay, so the border at either side is about the same, but there's a little bit less of it up the top there. Okay, I see a little bit of glue oozing through there. Right, and then what I did next was I took 2 of these, 1 of each colour, and I adhered it like that. Okay, so let's do these 2. really most of the work in this card is adhering all the bits together. Very, very easy to put together. So yes, I hope you all had a good Christmas. We went over to Vicky's for Christmas Day, and we had Christmas dinner, we opened presents, and then after that the rest of her husband's family came over. He has 3 brothers, they're all married, they all have children, so it really was a full house, and it was so nice to see the children opening up. It was their second lot of presents, really, and the excitement was just absolutely superb. Really thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Right, okay, so this is a grey one. I call it grey, and that's just going over the edge there. And then I'm going to do this one as well. Hubby and I had a quiet little Christmas day on our own, on Boxing Day. And we'd bought ourselves a crown of turkey, and we had another Christmas dinner with all the trimmings. Absolutely gorgeous. And then in the evening we watched a film together. So it's been a lovely Christmas. Hubby hasn't had to work Christmas Day or Boxing Day, although he did think he would have to on Boxing Day, so that was a bonus for us. But he's back to work today, which is Friday. I'm not sure what the date is today. It must be the 27th. Yeah. And hopefully the video will go live on the 29th, which is something I didn't think I would manage to achieve. But the way things are looking now, it looks as if I am going to make it. So I'm really chuffed about that. Okay, so that's that bit. The next we're going to do is this. It's coming down here. This one I'm going to use Tombow. So let's put this away and keep it upside down. Oh yeah, I'll give you a little tip. Yesterday, was it before Christmas? I don't remember. I wanted to use my fine tip glue pen, the one that's Stampin' Up sell, and it's something that I haven't used for a couple of years. I asked hubby to help me to try and get it open, and he couldn't, even with he's got a super duper sort of penknife thing, not sure what it is, but he's got lots of gadgets on it, and even using that he couldn't get it open. So I opened up a new one, and I said, well, that'll have to throw away then. And he said, I mean, normally I'm quite economical about things, and I do think about these things, but this one I didn't. And he said, no, don't throw it away. All you need to do is, once you've finished using the one you have, just take the top off your new one, put it onto this one, get rid of the old top. Why couldn't I have thought of that? It's not that difficult, is it? It's not like science or anything. So, yeah, he saved a bottle of glue for me. And I hope, if you hadn't thought of it, thank you. I don't feel so daft knowing that I'm not the only one who does that. I can't think all the way through these things. But yeah, if it saves you, then that's great. Now put another butterfly on here. Now, oh, this one, I put the butterfly at the bottom. Oh, that's right. I couldn't decide. Shall I put it on the bottom? It might get in the way when somebody's writing. Or if I put it at the top, it might get tangled with that when it closes. Yeah, so I obviously decided the bottom was the better idea, and I did the large one, didn't I? So we take another grey one for the bottom, and I still fold these wings even though they're going to get flattened inside the card, although I don't put the gems on it, but it just adds a little bit of dimension. Because the card is so thick, I don't think it's going to get squashed totally. Right, so put those together, make sure both sets of wings join up with each other, and then just a bit of glue there. Oh, I've done that the other way round, haven't I? Never mind, that's okay. I should have done the grey one on top, the holy one on top in grey, and the bottom one should have been yellow. But that's okay. Now that looks as if it's all part of that. So happy mistake. And now we need to add this piece on. I'm not sure if there was a right or wrong piece, but because I'm only taking a small section of it, I knew that one way did look better than the other. So that's the way I'm keeping it. So what you need to do is, with this box part here, okay, so this is the bit that goes to the bottom of the card, you need to put glue on there. Don't go too close to the edge in case it squeezes out. And then this gets lined up on there. Once you've got it in position, close your card so that you're not putting it too far down. You need to make sure your card will still close. Okay, so you've now got your card like this. Now when you're adhering these two pieces on, what did I do? That's the middle piece. So I'm going to have that as the middle piece. And oh, I've done that round the other way as well. Okay, so you can go that one. And then this side. So you got three pieces. You got that as a dark one, so that should be dark. How have I done that? You've got two of each, you got two of each, you got that and that. Oh, that's right. The only thing you need to watch with this is wherever you adhere these on, don't adhere them too high, otherwise what you'll find is it will come over the top of your card. Okay? So I know that this almost comes to the bottom. No, oh, that's right, I cut some off. You see? That lines up with that, and I cut that much off, otherwise it would have been too big. Now, I don't measure this, I just know it's a little bit below that knobbly bit there. Right, so let's put some glue onto this one. As I say, it's all this gluing that really takes the time. If you do decide you'd like to join my Facebook group, the public one, there will be 2 questions for you to answer about crafting, your likes or hobbies, whatever. Now, if you answer those 2 questions, then you'll be admitted to the group straight away. If you don't answer the questions, then I have to message you, and I do think that maybe the messages get lost. So it's just much easier for you to answer 2 questions. The questions don't get, and I've done this wrong, talking. I don't need that glued up there. So what I'm going to do, I don't have another spare one of those, so I'm going to use a yellow one of these. Cut that that off. Measure how far. Right, so it's that knobbly bit there. So what I'm going to do is put that on there. I'm just going to glue below it. As you know, I struggle to talk and work at the same time. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say. What I was saying actually. Never mind. If it's important, it'll come back. Wasted so much time doing that, didn't I? So much quicker just doing glue on half of it. Well, let's just do that up. Pop that upside down. Let's do that on this side. Right. I know by looking at the other one that those stems come down to about there and don't come over the top. Okay, so that's closed inside really nicely. So grey on the inside, we do this one. And how far did that come? Yep, that'll be nice. So that's about there with my... Right, make sure I don't make the same mistake twice. If you don't have these particular dies, just have a look through the sets that you do have and see what leafy ones you have, because these dies don't go with this set of DSP as far as Stampin' Up is concerned, but they do because flowers are flowers, aren't they? They will go with each other. Right, I'm going to pop that into there. Make sure I've got no glue. Oh, I've got a bit of glue under there. Okay, there's a bit of glue under there, but I have one of these things which is like a dust buddy, and once it's dry I can just put some of the powder on it and it'll take away the stickiness. So there's that and that and that and that. So I think that's about it done, isn't it? What have I forgotten? I'm bound to have forgotten something. Let's just put this back on and upside down. And let me just clear the space here. Okay, so we've done the butterflies with the gems. In fact, these gems stand out a lot better. Much better. Oh, I put some on there, didn't I? And that's a bit wobbly. I'm going to go back to that and put a bit more glue on it. So there we go. That's today's card. Let's turn it like that so that you can actually see it. Okay. It gives it a nice 3D effect, doesn't it? And that's what it looks like when it's up that way. I hope you liked today's project. As I say, I'm not sure what the name is, but I'll probably call it something like pop-up box. I think that describes what it is. So there are the 3 cards that I've done. As I say, all the measurements for these and the products all the measurements for these and the products for these will be listed in the box below, except for the retired dies. What I'll do for that is I will measure out what size I've used and I'll put that size in there. But any kind of dies you've got will work beautifully. If you do decide you'd like to buy any of these products, my online Stampin' Up shop is available 24/7. 365 days a year, and that's the website that you need to type in. That took me ages to realise that actually says demo ID. I kept thinking that was demoid, but that's my number with Stampin' Up. If you place an order during December, please use the December host code and put that on your order. And when at the end of the month, when I send you my thank you card, which will be made by me, it'll be unused with an envelope so that you can actually use it yourself. And I will also make a thank you gift. If you've used that, I can also send you some free product as well. So we all like freebies, don't we? And don't forget, in the box below there will be a link to the public crafting group. I'd love you to join. And if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do by clicking on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and click on the notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload a new one. Okay, so I wish you all a very, very happy new year, and I will be back with you again in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, happy crafting. Cheerio.